Hey everybody, so it looks like we are back with more Star Trek stuff. So let's take a look at what we have. So today was the premiere of season 2, episode 1 of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, and with that, there were some definitely some surprises, but some things that maybe that weren't. So first off, I just want to point out that normally I use the green screen. I also noticed that for the entire month of May, I didn't do a single video. And this means that between the last time you saw me go live and between now, um, Streamlabs did some updates with their Melon app. They even rebranded it, and for whatever reason, I'm not able to use green screen right now in my browser. So I literally discovered this within 10 seconds before the stream went live, and so obviously I can't fix it. But anyway, so let's talk about. Um, there's not a whole lot new going on with the channel. Obviously, this one is just me today. So we're going to eventually Jeff will come back, but for now Jeff's dealing with some stuff, life stuff, and he had to step away from YouTube. So for now it's just me again. But let's talk about a couple things that happened in Strange New Worlds that are absolutely worth mentioning. So, we started this particular episode out on wasn't on the ship, and she was on some sort of hiatus. So if you remember from the last season, she met this little girl that was who was separated from her family by the Gorn, uh, and so she had worked to find the family of the little girl, found her parents, and so there was some stuff going on. Long story short, the little girl's parents, I think the mother was sick because of some radiation that first off, it's not supposed to be on the planet with the lithium mines, but yeah. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the story. So I guess it goes without saying, if you've not watched it yet, you should probably stop before you listen to the rest of this. But if you have, let's just proceed. But at any rate, yeah. So I don't. I want to not talk about so much the story because you got to watch the story. Okay. We highlights though. Of course, we start off. Like I just described, we find out that the Klingons were building a Federation starship, and they were investing heavily in Federation gear. Um, like part of the plot was Lon trying to supply one of the Klingons with Federation phasers. So, yeah, so we find out that it's a starship that they were. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah. So they, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, let me get my mind back 1 second. Okay. They built the ship. They wanted to disrupt the peace. So this particular planet, I don't remember the name. Like Federation, the Klingons take turns a month at a time to, I don't know, take care of the planet and police it. Right now, it's in the Klingons month, so any Federation involvement would be seen as an act of aggression. So obviously, if we launch a starship, a Federation starship, and make it look like a Federation starship was used to attack a Klingon ship. At any rate, so that's kind of the plot, and the whole point was to avert that crisis, which, it was successful. But let's talk real quick about what about this new engineer. So I love the way they're bringing in a new chief engineer. Again, it's not Scotty yet, so we don't. I don't know when they'll introduce Scotty, if they will, but they clearly last season proved they have a guy for the voice, and so. But so Carol Kane plays Lieutenant Pelia, or I don't think she's a lieutenant. I think she's something else. Um, Either way, she is the she became the chief engineer. Spock let her become chief engineer. She dragged herself along. She wanted to be there. She called Spock out on his ship for trying to steal the Enterprise, and she's like, "All right, if you're gonna do this right." And yeah, needless to say, it worked. But we find out that she is a species called lanthanite, and they're known for living for a very long time. I think she described it as like basically forever. So if we have um, so we see somebody, a species that is very clearly human, human looking, and so the one of the traits of the lanthanites is they can live for long periods of time. Like apparently they've been walking among us for so long that until we started crossing the stars and stuff, we didn't even know that they weren't human. And so, yeah, we find out the last time she was on a starship was over 100 years, and she doesn't look like she's that old. So it kind of threw, it was kind of confusing. Like he thought that she was joking. That's what I thought. Sometimes people say, "Oh yeah, I swear it's been like 100 years. Feels like 100 years," but it wasn't. But no, it really was 100 years because she's a lanthanite, and so Uhura picks this up based on her accent. Completely clocks the accent. Hey, you're a lanthanite. Hey, how'd you guess your accent? And so that was really cool. Let's see. I gotta show you who I'm talking about. And so yeah, other things that we find out. Hold on. Let's just shit. It's been a minute since I did this, but there we go. So if we are being honest here, let me play with this and figure. There we go. So if we're looking at this, again, she looks completely human, but she's a lanthanite. She was teaching at Starfleet until she decided to talk Spock into let me be the chief engineer. I want some excitement. And she was bored. Teaching classes can be boring. But either way, so this is Pelia, and we're going to see lots of her. I'm hoping that she ends up being every bit as fun as uh, who she replaced, which was Himmer. So that should be fun. But let's talk about the Crossfield class. So the ship that the Klingons were building out of Federation tech was clocked as a Crossfield class. Now it was in the dialogue, so I don't know if this is 100% pegged as a Crossfield, but since it was in the script and somebody said, I think it's a Crossfield. Let's just roll with that, and let's talk about that. Let's see here. Let's share this again. All right. So here's the problem. So those are just, you know, yeah. So those are my thoughts on the Crossfield. The only other thing that I'm going to say is with the with this, we see that Dr. Mbenga and Nurse Chapel have access to these special little go juice hypo spray things, that green stuff. I don't know what it was. They didn't name it, but very clearly it gives them super strength so they can fight the Klingons. And so we find out that Mbenga had some PTSD from the war, being around so many Klingons. He doesn't want to remember it, but he remembers so much from the war. And very clearly, he had probably developed that particular little serum that gives the strength. So, those are my thoughts on the latest episode of Strange New Worlds. As much as I wanted to have the green screen working, that didn't happen. It's okay. Maybe next time. I really don't care about the visual effects so much. I was going to do a different intro, but I think intros are a waste of time. So, unless you guys would like to see me do an intro, then I don't think that that's what I would want to keep doing. So, at any rate, good seeing you, and I hope to see you on the next one.